Welcome to Thieves' Cant, a tabletop gaming podcast with your hosts, Jeremy Shane and Chris White.
Welcome in and welcome back. It is Thieves' Cant, Saturday, September 27th. I'm Jeremy Shane.
And I'm Chris White.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for following at Thieves' Cant Cast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen. Remember, you can always reach out, thievescantcast at gmail.com. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. Enjoying the beautiful, more fall-like weather this morning?
It is nice outside, yes. Yeah. I spent a little time just sitting outside, relaxing, trying to focus my inner force. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, it's right. Nice. It's pretty outside.
You've got to center yourself before recording an episode of Thieves' Cant, right? Mm-hmm. You got to be on it. Again, thanks for listening. In today's episode, we return to the Forge of Creation. We're going to craft a hero for MCDM's Draw Steel, or at least get that started.
Yeah.
We're going to take a look at a couple of expansions for the Last Caravan in our crowdfunding spotlight, and we'll ask a question of the week regarding ignored rules. But first, we've got some listener feedback.
Okay. The first one we have here is a response from Josh David regarding my take on the Artificer class and players who bring them into a high fantasy setting.
You did not appreciate the clash of styles between the Artificer and like high fantasy.
Yeah, it's not for me. Yeah. I don't love it, but I understand there are people who do. So, I appreciate that too.
Okay.
But, he says, I've had the idea, this is from Josh. Josh says, I've had the idea in the back of my head for a while to see if I can put together an artificer who keeps their flavor squarely in high fantasy, whose creations are all about etching runes and smithing arts, someone like Feanor or Celebrimbor in Tolkien.
Okay.
It would be much easier with some subclasses than others. The armor would be a hard sell for sure. Maybe it would be worth a homebrew subclass. I like this idea.
That's an interesting thought. I like the take.
Flavor, right? I mean, a lot of things change when you reflavor them. I like the way he's thinking. Maybe they are just the expert crafter who can, some of those mechanical effects could be magical.
Right. All right, Josh David, thanks for the feedback and thanks for listening. Once again, we hear from the. How did you interpret these numbers?
Leet. That's leet.
Why is that leet, and what does that mean?
It's
because I'm seeing the 1337 Wookiee man, but you're telling me that's the leet.
Yeah, that's the leet speak. That's what the kids do. It just is, man. It's
if you know, I guess, and I don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at the numbers.
Yeah.
So if you had to write leet on a calculator, because that comes up sometimes,
right.
That's how you do it.
Okay. I'll just trust you on that. All right. The leet Wookiee man says, looking forward to hearing your conversation about Draw Steel after you've tried it out at a table. Yeah, we are looking forward to having those conversations after we have tried it at the table. It is coming. We do have a Draw Steel game on the calendar, not for, almost another month. It's like late October before we're going to be able to do it. But we have it inked in on the calendar. It's happening.
We're doing what now? We're doing the introductory.
Yeah, the starter adventure, the Delian Tomb.
Yeah.
So, again, thank you, Wookiee Man.
Okay. Grail Case weighs in on Draw Steel's complications. He says, complications are great. When my group first got a look at them, we spent over an hour as everyone rolled for one, read it out loud, and then decided if they wanted to keep it or look for another one. We were having so much fun, we ran out of time for the Danger Room fight I'd prepared, so that got pushed to the next session. What do you think about that? Complications.
Yeah, well, I mean, we enjoyed the chapter. We expressed some trepidation at some of the options. You especially were hesitant to trust that random roll on the table.
Yeah.
But Grail Case's group, as he says, they rolled, and if it didn't quite mesh, then they would choose something else.
Yeah. That's a good compromise, I think.
Sure.
So there's a little surprise there, probably a little humor.
Yeah.
But then, if it's ridiculous and it doesn't work,
I could certainly see how this could eat up some time at the table if everybody's into it, everybody's having fun. And you don't get to that first fight you had prepared. Well, hey, your prep for next time is that much easier.
Right.
You know exactly where you're starting.
Yeah. If you're having fun, it's working.
Yeah, absolutely. Grail Case, thanks for the feedback once again. Thanks as always for listening. Grail Case has been with us since the start of Thieves Can't Capers, our sister show, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So much appreciated. Finally, regarding Thieves Can't Capers, the draw steal job, Jessica Van Voorhees says, I have listened to all of these. You two are amazing. Great energy. I wish these were 2 hours long. I can't wait for you guys to actually play.
Hold up, Jessica. I've got to be able to fit his head out of the studio when we're done here, all right? I really appreciate the praise, but, we don't need our heads to swell up too much.
Yeah,
so.
No, that is awesome feedback to receive. We do appreciate it. I think you may be the only person on the planet who wants 2 hours of us at a time. But that's flattering.
Yeah, our wives definitely don't want to be around us for 2 hours at a time. So.
Yeah, I know this did not come from one of our wives.
No. Thank you very much, Jessica.
All right. Thanks to all for listening. Thanks for the feedback. Again, you can drop that at Thieves Can't Cast. Also, thievescantcast@gmail.com. All right, let's move on. Shifting gears, it is our Thieves Can't question of the week.
Question of the week. Is there a TTRPG rule that you always ignore?
Would this be from the game master side of things?
Well,
or as a player, or either?
Yeah, I don't know as a player if you have as many options to just ignore a rule.
I'm going to ignore this ability that I have. Yeah, okay. So from the game master perspective, then that's how I'll approach it. Probably an obvious one, but I'm going to say encumbrance.
Oh, yeah.
Encumbrance / strict inventory management when it comes to ammunition and rations and that sort of thing. But then encumbrance, I don't want to track the weight or have the players track the weight of every item they find. Let's just use some common sense here. What are you logically able to carry with you? I like elegant systems like Free League's games that track, and I'm sure other systems do this as well, but they'll track your inventory by how many lines are available in that inventory space on your character sheet.
Yeah.
All right. Once those are full, your inventory is full.
Yeah.
That's an easy way to track it without having to take weight into concern, adding up all these numbers and worrying that, let's make sure we've got the bag of holding. It just, to me, that's not what the game should be focused on. So I frequently just don't even pay it any mind. I don't care. Yeah,
I get that. I wonder if that's why one of the first magic items a party gets is a bag of holding.
Bag of holding.
It's like...
what? So what if you just took those away?
Yeah.
Those don't exist.
It's like, I just think it's because DMs don't want to mess with it.
Right.
It's, you're carrying 10,000 gold. How much does that weigh? Well, probably a lot, but do I care? It depends what you're there for in the game, obviously.
Yeah.
I'd kind of go the same route. With me, tracking supplies in general, like tracking ammunition, tracking food and water. Now, the game we were playing in,
your 5e game,
the Dark Sun-esque kind of game, that's important, right? Because you're in this wilderness and supplies are hard to find.
It's tied to the narrative.
Yeah, so basically for you all, finding water was like finding treasure.
Right.
Because it was
high fives all around the table.
Yeah, and it builds some tension when it's like, ooh, no, we're running out of food and water. We're going to start suffering some exhaustion, and then things get real bad. So in that case, it's okay. But in a normal campaign, first of all, I don't want the archer running out of ammunition and having zero fun at the table.
Yeah.
I know for some people that's immersion breaking, but I don't have, you just have ammo. Yeah. You just have it.
For maybe a one-on-one scenario with that character that
it's a factor.
That needs that ammunition, that can be a storyline as the stakes are high and I've got to find resources or I've got to find another means of survival. But if you're looking at a full party game where all of these characters are supposed to complement each other and the archer or the bowman, whatever, needs ammunition, they kind of have it.
Right. And I want you to have it without having to carry around 14 quivers full of arrows on your back, right? That seems silly. Now, at the same time, I sort of expect players to recognize their situations where it might come up, right? So if you're in the, castle and it's being sieged and you've been in there for weeks, don't be mad if I'm like, hey, I need you to start, you have this many arrows, I need you to start tracking them, because that's a specific situation. Yeah. But in general, I ignore that stuff. Food and drink's the same way. I want food and drink to be a role play element, like that's, you're sitting around and you're at camp and you're eating baguettes and life's good, and that's how you're having the conversation. You're at the inn, you're drinking wine. It's, that's more for role play than the minutia. I think Draw Steel kind of calls that out. They don't want you getting hung up on those things. So it's interesting. I think a lot of us, even, in games like D&D, we kind of hand wave a lot of that stuff.
All right. What rules do you ignore at the table? In general, or maybe specific to a system? You can let us know, thievescantcast@gmail.com. Let's move on. It's time for our crowdfunding spotlight. This week, we take a look at The Last Caravan, Westward Bound from Ted Bushman. This is on Kickstarter for another 19 days as of this recording. I really like the sound of this. The Last Caravan is described as a Cars and Aliens role-playing game about a midwinter road trip in the wake of an alien invasion. Starting from the East Coast, you and your fellow travelers will navigate a shattered North America. Your story is about normal people finding heroism under extraordinary pressures. It's about relationships tested by a crisis and rediscovering what matters when the world is ending. What do you think? First impression, just based on that description?
This sounds like a TV show in the making.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. We're rolling across the country.
I like games that pull characters close together, and really that's the focus. As you journey, those relationships that form along the way. This campaign is for 2 expansions to The Last Caravan. They are Westward Bound, the name of the campaign, along with Lost Highway. The Last Caravan, for context, this was a 2025 ENnie Awards nominee for Best Game Product of the Year. You can even get the core rules for the game as part of your pledge for these expansions. On the Kickstarter page, there is a 50-page preview of that core book if you want to get more information. One click takes you right to a PDF download. You don't have to sign up for anything, which is nice.
Yeah.
So it's worth a look. There are multiple pledge levels. I think there's a pledge level that's around $160 if you want to go all in on everything, which in this day and age,
yeah, not that much really.
It's in line with everything else that we've seen. And again, that funds for another 19 days on Kickstarter. Worth a look. The art style is interesting. The different types of characters that you can play, interesting. You can play a human. I think you can play an alien. One of these expansions even lets you play a dog.
Wow.
Yeah, there are dogs trying to, assist the humans. That's my understanding. Maybe you know more about the Last Caravan than I do.
I'm going to be honest. I just want to play as Ted Bushman. That's the greatest name ever.
The creator?
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Don't you want to follow that guy into the apocalypse?
That's The Last Caravan on Kickstarter. That's our crowdfunding spotlight, which leaves us only one place to go now. It's into the Forge of Creation for our build of a Draw Steel hero. Are you ready for this?
No. Yes, absolutely.
Here we go.
The Forge of Creation.
Chris, we should preface this by saying that we have not had a lot of discussion about what this process is going to look like.
It's raw.
And that's a good way to frame it.
Yeah.
It's raw. We have on our sister show, Thieves Can't Capers, we've been making our way through Draw Steel Book 1, Heroes. We have just recently in our last episode kind of wrapped up all of the chapters that deal with character creation. And so now we figured we would use this platform on this show to kind of show you what that process looks like. Okay, so the steps for creation as Draw Steel lays them out, starting at number 1, would be to think about your character, maybe the general archetype that you're going for. We figure thinking is not going to make for great audio. So for our purposes, we're going to bypass step 1, and we're going to move on to step 2, which is choosing our ancestry. So again, we've got a choice of 12 different ancestries in the core book. Chris, I can probably rule out a few of these from your prerogative. I know you're not a fan of the polder.
No.
Which is kind of like Draw Steel's version of a halfling.
Yeah.
They're the small folk, right?
Yeah.
For me, I'm not really down for a mnemonic at this point, or even a time raider.
Yeah.
Those are kind of more science fantasy ancestries.
Yeah, I agree.
That would leave us with humans, devils, orcs, woad elves and high elves, dragon knights, as well as dwarves, and the Hakan, which are descendants of stone giants, kind of a Goliath of sorts, if you're looking for that D&D touchstone. And then the Revenant. They are kind of the undead. Mm-hmm. What's singing to you?
This might surprise you.
Okay.
What about a woad elf?
I can go woad elf.
Could you go down that woad?
Yeah, I can walk that woad.
We've been saving those jokes for a long time, just so you all are aware.
So on our Draw Steel character sheet, we're going to go ahead and in Ancestry, we're going to put down woad elf. Okay, so as a woad elf, we're going to get access to the signature trait woad elf glamour. That means that we can magically alter our appearance to better blend in with our surroundings. And we'll get an edge on tests made to hide and sneak, tests made to search for us while we're hidden. Those take a bane. So we know we're going to be stealthy.
We got that camo. Yeah, they come to snuff the rooster. Good luck.
We also get 3 ancestry points to spend on our choice of a number of different traits that cost 1 or 2 points respectively. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different choices here.
I like quick and brutal.
I was eyeballing that as well.
That looks fun.
That would let us take an additional main action and an additional move action upon a critical hit.
Yes, that sounds fun.
That. Let's do that one for 1 point. That leaves us 2 points to spend.
Yeah, I like otherworldly grace. Saves, important, obviously, but for 2 points, it's a little too steep for me. I really like Swift.
For another 1 point, yeah, Swift would give us a speed of 6.
I've been playing a little too much Baldur's Gate 3 lately.
Yeah?
And I've realized that movement is a precious and wonderful thing.
Yeah, let's take that one, and then that will leave us 1 point, so we could choose between Forest Walk, letting us shift into and within difficult terrain. Mm-hmm. That could be beneficial.
Yeah.
I like the mobility there. Or we could go with Revisit Memory, which would give us an edge on tests made to recall lore. Those are 2 different focuses here.
Yeah.
Do we want the extra mobility, or do we want access to information?
Mm. I'm not going to lie, I kind of like Revisit Memory. That may not be the optimized choice, but there's a lot of flavor there.
I like the unexpected route there. Let's go with that. And that will be our 3rd point spent. And honestly, that's all that we get from Ancestry.
That's all that we need.
Okay, so from there, we move on to background. And background is where we determine culture and career. So let's take a look at what's on offer here.
Yeah, so when we're picking our culture, obviously we need to remember that just because you're of a particular ancestry, it doesn't mean that you have to choose that culture. You could be a woad elf that was raised among humans or raised among dwarves, and that would affect your culture. I think this time we're going to play it pretty straight. We're going to keep it simple. So we're playing a woad elf, and we're going to just be immersed in the woad elf culture.
Yeah, it would certainly be fun to explore other routes, other possible combinations. But yeah, for the purposes of this recording, I think just playing it straight here is good.
Mm-hmm.
What does our culture give us?
Okay, well, the first thing, if we look on the chart they have here, is the language. And if I mispronounce anything, I hope you all will be forgiving.
The MCDM legions are going to rain down hell.
I'm in trouble. So your language that you speak is Illyric?
Or maybe just Ilric?
Ilric. I like that better.
Okay, that'll also on this table tell us what our environment was regarding our upbringing, right?
Right. And so in this case, it's going to be wilderness for the Woad Elf.
Makes sense. The organization, like the leadership structure, the table tells us bureaucratic. So there is some semblance of order, a hierarchy, so to speak, right?
It means the culture has official leadership, formally recorded laws. So it's a very organized culture.
And then finally, our upbringing. The table tells us, playing it straight here, our upbringing was martial. We were raised by warriors.
Yeah, defenders of the Woad, mercenaries, adventurers, just a militant background.
We were raised to fight.
Yeah, in the wilderness.
Or at least to know how to fight.
Yeah, in the wilderness in our orderly society where we spoke Ilric.
And we get a skill as a result of that martial upbringing as well. The book tells us that we can choose from blacksmithing or fletching from the crafting skill group, or climb, endurance, or ride from the exploration group. From the interpersonal group, we could select intimidate, or how about alertness or track from the intrigue group. Finally, monsters or strategy from the lore skill group. You made that choice earlier of revisit memory to kind of enhance this character's access to lore.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the lore skills appeals to you. I don't know. Or does something else stand out? Alertness or track are certainly appealing.
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of like, I don't know all the details, but strategy seems kind of nice.
Yeah.
You were raised in this martial background. You just have a understanding of combat and the ebb and flow. Plus, you have all that knowledge and that history that you're pulling from.
Yeah, I dig that. Well, let's go with that then. Let's go with strategy, the skill strategy from the lore group.
Yeah.
All right. So with that box checked, we can now turn our attention to career, another part of our background, what we did before becoming a hero. What goes into a career? You get a skill, or maybe more than one. You get maybe additional languages. Some careers increase your starting renown, which will come into play in things like negotiation systems in the game. It'll determine wealth, give you some project points, perhaps a perk.
It's good to have. Were you bagging groceries before you became an adventurer?
Right.
Well, that's going to have an impact on you as a character.
I'm not going to read off every option here, but, you see things like agent or aristocrat, beggar or criminal, farmer, gladiator, mage's apprentice. I mean, some of these probably make more natural sense than others. Anything catching your eye, Chris? I mean, soldier is in here. There's certainly the soldier option if we had that martial upbringing.
Yeah, I like that.
Warden is also there. You protected a wild region from those who sought to harm it.
Ooh, that's the one.
You like Warden?
Let's go Warden.
Let's go Warden as our career then. Jot that down on the character sheet. Let's see what we get from it. I like this. We're just making choices without even knowing exactly what we're getting. Just kind of choosing based on flavor.
Yeah, this isn't an optimization build.
Right.
There's no min-maxing here.
So we gain the following benefits as a warden. We get the nature skill from the lore skill group. So we can check that box. And we get one skill from the intrigue group. Ooh, this will be a fun choice.
Since we're Woad elves, we're kind of sneaky.
Yeah.
So what if we just took sneak?
Sneak makes sense. All right, so we'll pick sneak from the intrigue group. Our career does grant us a choice of one additional language, based on your knowledge of other ancestries in Draw Steel, who do you think our Woad Elf would be communicating with enough to have to know that language?
Well, the High Elves have their own language, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we'd know our elven cousins.
Our kin, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. The High Elves in Draw Steel, based on that lore, they are descendants of the Celestials. The High Elves speak Hieralic. It's the language of interspecies diplomacy.
Wow.
So you want to go with that?
Let's go for it.
Hieralic it is. Add that to your languages.
So the next thing we get, 120 project points.
All right, we're just going to bank those for now.
Yeah.
Make a note that we have 120 project points to spend. Again, in your downtime activities in Draw Steel, you can undertake a project. Maybe you're crafting something, or maybe you're gathering information, or what have you. But you've got to have the points to spend on those projects. So we get a nice cushion of 120 to start with. And finally, our career gives us one perk. We can choose an exploration perk. Now, those include Brawny, Camouflage Hunter, Danger Sense. There are quite a few to select from here, but I think maybe the quick build option makes sense, Camouflage Hunter.
Yeah, makes sense with the character so far.
Yeah, whenever you're in the wilderness, once you are hidden from a creature, you don't need cover or concealment to stay hidden from them. That's fun.
Yeah.
That really opens up gameplay.
Yeah.
Keeps you mobile. Right? You don't have to stay in one spot to hide. I think Camouflage Hunter it is.
I like it.
All right, so the last thing that we have to determine for our career is the inciting incident that led us to adventure. What pulled us away from our duties as a warden and into the world of adventure. There is a lovely D6 table that accompanies every career. We can roll on that, or we could come up with our own. I think for fun, let's roll a D6 and see what we get.
See me rolling. We got a 3.
All right, a 3. Ooh, exiled.
Ooh,
yeah.
Nice.
You made a crucial mistake that could not be forgiven. The other wardens of the region decided your fate, exiling you from your lands with an order never to return. So we've been exiled from the woad in which we were raised, or that we were protecting. I think that's probably the same one, right?
Yeah.
So a little bit of a story developing here.
Nice.
Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
All right. So at this point, we've got a nice concept going here. We've determined our ancestry, culture, and career. I think at this point, we might want to wrap and revisit the Forge of Creation next time to finish our options like class and kit and complications, all of that.
I think you're right. I think we might need some help. Maybe we could get some input. People could tell us what class they think we should pursue for this character.
Now, what if they say troubadour? Are you prepared to accept the results?
Well, we're all going to have to live with it if that's what happens.
Yeah, why don't you let us know what class you think we should dip into for our Woad Elf. thievescantcast@gmail.com, or just drop us a note there on YouTube or wherever you're listening at Thieves Can't Cast.
I think before we go, though, this character needs a name.
You want to go ahead and name the elf?
I have a name in mind.
Okay, we'll let you name the elf.
This might affect what class people think we should pursue. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I think the obvious name is Thaddeus Bushman. That's the only name I'm accepting for this character. So
Thaddeus Bushman.
Thaddeus Bushman.
All right, I am putting that down in ink. All right, so what class is Thaddeus Bushman? Let us know, or give us any other feedback that you feel like dropping our way. Just a reminder, we'll see you later in the week for Thieves Can't Capers. We're continuing our trek through Draw Steel. We're going to be hitting on... Gosh, what are we hitting on this week? Oh, yeah, tests as well as combat and negotiations. We're kind of into the crunch.
Yeah, just some little things. Might come up once in a while.
Yeah. So we'll see you on Thieves Can't Capers later this week, and we'll see you back next week for another episode of Thieves Can't. Until then, have a great week of life, gaming, all that. I'm Jeremy Shane.
And I'm Chris White.
We will see you next time. So long.
Thank you for listening to Thieves Cant. Email thievescantcast@gmail.com.